Hi everyone, I'm Candice. I want to thank you all for joining us today. We truly appreciate you taking the time out of your schedules to be here, and I'm so excited to introduce our guest speaker today, Jessica and Stephanie, both principal designers from Etch Design Group, and with over like 30 years of combined interior design experience. They lead a thriving design firm in Austin, Texas, and also have a inspiring program called AI for Interiors. One of their goal is to help professionals integrate AI tools into their workflow and enhancing both efficiency and productivity. So I actually had the chance of joining them on one of their podcast episodes to discuss AI and also our services. I believe they are truly trailblazing in this industry. And as one of the many AI companies, we are eager to solve real problems and improve designers' work efficiency. So we value learning from professionals like interior designers and also architects, which is why we are dedicated to hosting events like this. So before we dive in, I'd like to highlight a recent launch challenge ourselves. Actually, we currently have 3 ongoing themes, which are we have Cosmos, also Halloween themes, also a floating architecture, which went live this Tuesday. So as for the challenge event, previously we hosted on our Facebook group actually, and we were thrilled with the participation actually. And now we expanded to a larger platform to give your works more exposure and to foster a engaging community where PromeAI users can you can earn coins and gain recognition and also inspire one another. So make sure you can check this challenge on our site. So now let's welcome our guest speakers, Jessica and Stephanie. Please say hello to our audience, and we can't wait to see your share.
Hi, thanks for having us. We're super excited.
We, as Candice said, have been working with Prome for a while now, and she came on our podcast. If you want to look into it more, it's AI for Interiors, and we own Etch Design Group in Austin, Texas. We founded it about 10 years ago, and once we learned about Prome, we decided to implement it into our design process, which Jess is going to go over today.
Candice, do we want to start with the video? Do you want me to kind of introduce that? Oh, I think you're muted. Oh, we can't hear you, Candice.
Jessica, could you please firstly maybe try in your end to play the video? So let's see whether people could hear the voices.
Yes, I can try. So just to kind of set this up a little bit, we have done multiple trainings for designers. We do live webinars for our AI for Interiors side of the business. And one of the webinars that we recently did a training on was for PromeAI. And we use PromeAI for many different tools that they offer. And the sketch rendering tool is definitely one of the ones that we use the most. And then kind of transition the images that we create using the sketch rendering tool into other areas of Prome, because they have multiple AI tools to be able to kind of edit your video or your images. And so this video that I put together is actually part of that training course that we did. So it walks you through kind of how we utilize the sketch rendering tool and then also transfer it into the other tools in Prome. So specifically the erase and replace is what we look at in terms of transferring the image over. Our design process, we utilize AutoCAD and we also utilize SketchUp for any 3D renderings for clients. And what we've done is kind of saved an image of an AutoCAD 2D elevation as well as a 3D elevation, 3D rendering basically that just has basic materials applied in SketchUp. And then we have rendered those for you in this video. And then on the latter half of the video, we will show you how we transition an image from sketch rendering into erase and replace, and then what that looks like in terms of kind of slight editing in the program as well. So I think, let me try and share my screen and we'll kind of test the sound. If not, Candace, you can. So the sketch rendering tool.
Can you hear it?
Yep,
Yes.
that's perfect.
Okay.
This is the home screen. This is what it looks like where you'll begin. And what you're going to do is click this sketch rendering button. That will navigate you to that tool. And then once you click that, we're going to click upload with that upload button. Or you can drag and drop your image anywhere on the screen. That is fine as well. Once your image is uploaded, you'll basically start the process of entering in a prompt and making your option selections. So in this case, I said a modern kitchen with taupe-colored skinny shaker style cabinets, a vertical stained wood fluted vent hood above the range, a white marble backsplash with a marble shelf above. The two cabinets flanking the vent hood have black metal doors with glass inlay and a stained wood cabinet box surround, brass cabinet hardware. So then what we'll do is navigate to the style button, and we're going to select photography, realistic. That's the way that I would go for most of these. And then go to your scene button, which is right below the style button. We're going to select interior. And then in this case, we're going to say kitchen. And then we're going to go over to our scene elements. So whenever you go to your kitchen section right here, it's going to pull up several different options for you. And you can just select whatever it is that is in your scene. So in this case, I said range hood, cabinetry, countertop, refrigerator. Select anything that's in your image that you want to render, and that will help it understand what should be in there. The next thing and the most important thing is going to be your interior style. So you can scroll down through the list, or you can select one of these options up here, whatever works best for you in terms of finding it, but basically you're just trying to find whatever image matches what you're trying to render. So we are going to select these two right here. And then we are going to go to the environment tool. This is that button that you don't necessarily need to use. You can though, play around with it, night, day, dusk. Really, those are just the three options that it gives you, but we're not going to do that today because we don't need to. Next, we are moving down to the mode. So when you go to mode, I selected structure. You can change the creativity if you want to. And then we are going to generate our images. So when we do that, 3 images will generate. And once they are done, you'll just simply click on the image to enlarge it. We're going to enlarge it. And this is the first image. And then this is the second image. And this is the third image. Now you'll notice the vent hood is super weird. That shouldn't be there. We are going to go back in and refine our prompt to correct some of these issues. And so based on that, you can just revise. You can revise the prompt as many times as you need, just to make sure that the images that are being rendered are what you'd like to see. And then if you're thinking that the style might not be quite right, you can go back in and adjust the scene as well. And so if you go back into scene and then interior style, maybe you just want to go down to 1 instead of 2 and see what that does for you. So we're going to generate again, create 3 new images, and it doesn't typically take too long. But once your image is rendered, you'll be able to preview them in a larger image by just clicking on them. Sometimes this takes 6 to 10 different iterations. This is the first image here. This is the second image. And this is the third image. So this is the closest one to what we're trying to actually render. So we're going to actually save this one. So when you hover over, then you'll just click this save button. And then if you need to edit your image, you can also click that edit button and send it to the erase and replace tool or the region rendering tool if you want to do a little bit of editing. So it'll do minor touch-ups, minor edits of things. So that was using the sketch rendering tool. So whenever you're ready to save at the end, just save and you're good to go. So the next one we're going to look at is a 3D SketchUp model using the sketch rendering tool. I will say whenever you are doing the elevations versus the renderings, they are a little bit different in terms of how they interpret things. That's why I wanted to show you guys an example of both of them. And here we'll go in the sketch rendering tool using a 3D image from SketchUp. Same process in the beginning. You start on the home screen, go to your sketch rendering, and then again, same exact process. You're going to upload your image or drag and drop your image anywhere on the screen so that you can get it uploaded. And then instead of jumping straight to the prompt, we're going to do style this time. And we are going to select photography again from that main menu there. And then realistic. Again, I try and stick there as much as I can. Then we're going to go over to scene, which is directly below the style button. And we are going to select interior. And then we are going to select kitchen because that is what we are trying to render in this image. Then when we go over to scene elements, again, if we click that kitchen button, we're going to try and select anything that would be visible in that image that I uploaded. So here we're going to say sink, countertop, kitchen island, range hood, and cabinetry. So those are all the things that match this particular scene. And then we're going to go over to interior style, which is the next one here. Again, this is where you can have some fun, select whatever style it is that most closely represents the image that you're trying to render. And then just scroll through the list or obviously select from any of these here. We're going to select 2. And then you can go back to environment if you want to change those. Again, don't have to. I typically don't. We're going to leave that as is. And then we are going to go down to mode. And then mode, again, is where you say how creative you want it to be. So in this case, we're going to go with structure and we're going to go down to 20% for that creativity. So now you can adjust your perspective or your lighting values if you want. Again, those are the advanced features. That's what the perspective looks like. That's what the lighting looks like. I, again, don't typically touch those. Have at it if you want. Just play around. That is totally fine. And then we're not going to do anything for detailed or fast mode. We're going to keep those exactly as they are. And then last but not least, we're going to enter in our prompt. So in this case, I said a modern kitchen with medium tone stained wood cabinetry, a large island with modern gray leather chairs at a table height, white marble slab countertops with a white marble slab splash behind the vent hood, lots of large windows with ample natural light, a large transom window above the soffit. So now we're going to generate that image. And so you'll just click generate down below. It'll come up with your 3 different options for rendering. Usually takes a little less than a minute in order to get them rendered. I obviously sped them up for this. And then once your images have been rendered, what you're going to do is click on the images so that you can see them. So this is your first image. This is your second image. And this is your third image. Notice that you've got some quirks here. It didn't understand this was a window. It did understand that these were windows. And then we've got transoms up above. But sometimes I would probably just say, render it again to see what you get, and then go from there. So that's what we're going to do here is render it again without even changing anything. So we just went back down to the generate button, did 3 more, and we can see if this window thing is a quirk that we need to address or if it's going to eventually get it. So here is the first image for the second round of renderings. Here's the second, and here is the third. So you'll notice it does some really cool things in terms of what it renders, but it's also a little quirky at times too. This almost looks like leather instead of wood. So you have to play around with it and see what works best for you. So based on the imagery that I'm seeing, I would recommend going back in and editing the prompt to hopefully try and correct some of those window things. And then in this case, we're going to just add to our original prompt, and we're going to say lots of large windows with ample natural light, a large transom window above the soffit with the vent hood, a wall of windows behind the island seating on the right wall. So we're going to generate it one more time, see what we get. Once our images are rendered, again, we can just click on them to upsize them. This one did what we wanted it to. So we've got the windows on the right side here, which is great. The next one did not. We did have success with the other ones, but the other two didn't. The first one did. So this is where we're going to use that trick of tricking the program into what we want. So we're going to go back to this image that had the windows exactly like we wanted it. And then we're going to go to this download button, do a full download so that it is a higher resolution. And then we are going to use that as our reference image now, because I don't want to have to re-render something 8 million times just to try and get it to understand that those are windows over there. This is the image that we gave it to essentially let it know that we want the windows rendered properly, and just used it in this reference image tool here. And now we're going to go back in and select our scene. So I'm going to go down to 1 scene this time instead of 2, just not to confuse it. And then we're going to generate it again to see what it comes up with. So when you upsize it, these look a lot better. Like it understands that the windows are supposed to be windows. It's definitely going in the direction that we would want it to go. So that's great. So now that the program understands that the windows are there, we can just do a little bit more tweaking or keep re-rendering to see exactly what you want. But in this case, we're going to say that this image is good, and we are going to do a little bit of cleanup on it. Notice I've got some weird funkiness happening on the island here. So what we're actually going to do is edit this, and we're going to send it to the erase and replace tool to try and correct this. So say I want to show this image to a client. I just want to clean it up a little bit. When you do that, a pop-up is going to appear. So make sure that you have your pop-ups turned on. And then it's actually going to send it to this erase and replace tool. So we're going to select remove, because I want to remove this from here. And then I'm going to do my manual selection tool, and I'm going to highlight over the area here that I do not want in the image. And then I also notice that there's this funky white outlet in the background, and this little guy here, it's looks like a little beverage faucet or something. So I'm going to take those things out, and I am going to generate my images. You have to scroll down, by the way. You'll notice that it does give you a little key here so that you can see that your images are being rendered, but you actually have to scroll down. So remember to do that because it's confusing sometimes. And now, as you can see, the area on the island has been fixed. Same with this second image as well. And then this third image kind of does a little bit of funkiness for us here. So we could go back to that first image and save it to our computer. And again, we do that by going to this little guy here, do a full download, save it to our computer, and we are good to go. So that's what it looks like once we have rendered an image. Another thing to note too, I don't know if you guys remember it, but whenever we were looking at this initial image that we input into the computer, it didn't have a range on the back wall. It did not have a sink, but you remember those elements that we actually told it we wanted it to render? That's what it did here. And I didn't have to go in and prompt it by adding additional prompts within the prompting box. I just did that through that elements button. So that's the beauty of that tool. That is it.
A very smart way, actually. I didn't, because this, let me just first stop sharing. Well, actually, the way that you're like downloading the rendering image and use it as reference photo, that was the first time I we ever received from users, because uh, we launched another a tool called like region rendering. That's basically you can put two input together and do a little bit of smear adjustment. So does that work for like a re-editing uh, the existing image? Does that work for your
Absolutely. We
design?
use a mixture of erase and replace and region rendering whenever we're doing our images. It kind of depends on what I'm getting back in terms of the visuals. Region rendering I find is really great. I call it like a Frankenstein image. Like we're trying to put multiple elements together from some of the images that we've gotten back from Prome. And so say I render it multiple times and maybe one image has the cabinets correct, one image has windows correct. I can kind of that's why I call it a Frankenstein. I kind of pick different pieces that I want of each, and I use that region rendering tool to be able to just take the elements that I do want and leave out the ones that I don't. So I kind of pick the most the image that is the most correct, and then I start taking other elements from other images using region rendering.
Yeah, yes, that's because we kind of like, because the basic workflow will be like, first we do like sketch rendering, then we probably do the erase and replace. So
Mhm.
I would say that region rendering is it's like it's a good name, like Frankenstein tool, because it's do something that you could do in just one tool. So
Mhm.
thank you. That's a wonderful share, and I believe that our audience have learned a lot from your insight and experience with our tool, because I know that today we are having like new users
Mhm.
like receive feedback that they want to learn because they have never used it, so they want to look how you guys been using. Yeah. So
Absolutely. And I will
before,
say that's just kind of like a quick snapshot of, how to obviously use the sketch rendering tool. In the class that we teach, we actually go very in depth on several different
yes,
tools that you guys have, and we've kind of created this like whole packet of like literally step by step, what to do, what each of the buttons mean. It's kind of like a full guide, if you will. So it's super helpful.
yes, yes. Yes, I wanted to highlight that actually Jessica and Stephanie, they have this inspiring program. They have a website called AI for Interiors. Then they have a whole AI design academy where they offer like in-depth courses, and including like a full PromeAI tutorial, and most importantly, you if you enroll in their courses, you will also receive like a 10% off discount code for like for our standard membership. So be sure to check that out. Um, yeah. So I actually so let's see if we got some questions from the audience first.
And while
Uh,
Candace is looking that up, a quick reminder from what Candace said at the beginning that this will be posted. So you can rewatch the video. I know that's a lot of content to take in, and so you can rewatch it, go through it again, and follow step
yeah.
by step if you want to follow along that way.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. How do the token works? I'd like to try this for free, but not sure what token equals to. So if you are like newly registered users, you will get the 7-day free trial. We do offer that. So you and also we have like sorry. So I'll do it. We also have because currently we have collaborate with many influencers on YouTube. So if you like search our name PromeAI, you will find that there will be, because we authorized a few like codes for redeem lifetime coins as well. So if you do, you can go search our collaborating videos, and you should probably find some code for redeem lifetime coins for you to try before you purchase our services. So, a place to guide. Are there any forms or places to guide on prompt wording? We do have on our site, we have a page in the About tab. There's a tab called Inspiration, where you can find mostly in architecture. So you can, we use it as a like a prompt library. So there are many curated prompts for different kind of buildings. We have like residential, commercial, and so many types of buildings that the prompts will be indicated in the articles, and you can use them as a reference.
I will
Yeah.
also add to that, Candace. I think prompting is probably one of the hardest parts of any kind of like image generation process when you're using AI, because people, what I find is, get a little scared by it. They don't really know how to word exactly what they are trying to say. So we actually, kind of instruct the people that the designers that we work with on utilizing other AI tools to be able to help you with that prompting. So ChatGPT is really great. You could use Google Gemini as well, or any of the other LLMs, but basically use the AI tools to your advantage. And so if you are unsure of how to describe something, you could put an image into ChatGPT and say, how would you describe this in the way of a prompt that I would be, putting into an AI image generation software, so that it understands it. Or if you have a specific idea in your head of something, maybe you don't have an image, you could just ask ChatGPT, hey, I am trying to create this kitchen in these particular elements. Can you help me formulate this into a prompt? And it's really great about doing that. Use the tools that you have available to be able to help you, because it gets much easier the more that you work with it. But in the beginning, I do think it's a little scary for people, the prompting side of things.
And I'll just add there that this call is full of creatives. And so it's much
Mhm.
easier for us to sketch something with our hand or put it into a drawing in a program on our computer. And so it's hard to formulate the words that describe something that we're visualizing in our heads. And so, where Jessica's saying, have something else create the prompt, or at least start it for you, is really valuable. And just know that everyone else feels the same way. It's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also, because also in our community page, that you can view all the published works from our users. So some of them are really like you can view that very detailed prompts, and sometimes even with the value, the parameters value. So there's some tricks that you can apply to your prompting. I think our that's why we set the community page to aim to be useful for users.
Mhm.
And actually now I have some questions for Jessica and Stephanie. That the first one will be like, because you have a lot of project going on, and sometimes if will you in terms of communication with the client, uh, how do you address the use of AI tools to your client, and is there any changes in clients' feedback or satisfactions?
So when it comes to AI, we really like to make sure our clients understand from the very beginning that we use AI as a tool to really support us in our work. It's definitely not a replacement for us or our creativity. It's just literally a tool to help us. So I think it's about being transparent and making sure that you have that conversation with clients up front. This is something we also include in our contracts as well. So they know that AI is a tool that we use to speed up the visualization process, and it helps us organize project details. But ultimately, it helps us stay on top of everything and just kind of keep the project moving forward much smoother. Um, what I find is that clients are actually really impressed with the use of AI within our firm and how quickly they can actually see their ideas come to life, which makes, I think, for them, the decision-making process a whole lot smoother. The faster the turnaround for them means that, and us too, means that we can get, real-time feedback and decisions. It keeps them feeling more engaged and, as part of the process. And ultimately, I think that they're a lot happier with the end result of the project because we've been able to take a much deeper dive and really fully understand what it is that they're wanting through these visual tools that we use. And we do use AI in really every part of our business. It's not just on like the visualization side. So once I think clients are really impressed with how quickly it moves things along and just keeps things organized for them. Would you add anything there, Steph?
Nope, nailed it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just like so it's very interesting that we also have received like feedbacks from like KOLs, influencers, that actually their fans like comments to you suggesting them to use AI tools.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. And is there any like negative feedback from clients? Like clear say that I don't think that AI is doing any good in this project or something. Just
N-
curious.
No, we've never had a client be negative about it. I
I also I
oh,
also
go ahead.
think it has to do with the expectations we set,
Yeah.
because as designers, we aren't using AI to replace us. We're using AI to assist us. And when we present it to a client in that manner, then they understand, okay, you're not taking your creativity or your expertise out of the process. And so to them, it makes it more exciting because things could move faster. Maybe that means our time billing is less. Maybe there are other efficiencies that help them in their project. And I think there's a little bit of fear in the industry, or even wanting to stay away from it because they're afraid that it's going to replace their creativity or their design. But in reality, uh, when you look at it from an assistant side and not a replacement, then I think it kind of changes the mindset.
Mhm.
Like that actually leads to another questions of mine, because I'm curious about what questions do you often get from designers about using AI? Because I know that you have a uh, very successful like AI podcast program, and you have interviewed so many designers. And how do you like how they speaking about those like using AI tool in their workflow?
What I find is that a lot of designers are really curious about the learning curve and picking up these new AI softwares and tools that are out there. And there's such a wide variety of tools. I mean, obviously, we're talking about Prome today and how that can help you in your process. But there are so many AI tools out there that not only that we use, but we recommend other designers look into as well. I think I explained that once you get comfortable with inputting prompts, like, we're talking about earlier, and understanding how tools respond, it becomes really like a natural extension of your workflow, just like any other software, we adapt over the years. You're just going to get more familiar with using it and how it operates. And so you really have to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and start utilizing these AI tools. And, it doesn't have to be complicated. We always tell people start with one and, see how you like it. See if it actually does help streamline your process. And I think you're going to find really quickly that it not only saves you a lot of time, but it also gets your clients to be able to make decisions faster. And so once you have one tool in your tool belt, then add another one and just kind of start trying out new things. And so I always tell people your if you're not even sure where to begin, start with a really simple program like ChatGPT, where you just start to understand how you communicate with AI. And it's a language model, so you literally just talk to it and use that as a tool to be able to help assist you in other areas of your business, whether that be prompting, whether that be helping draft emails, whatever it is. ChatGPT is a great tool just to be able to start with and understand how an AI program works. I've also had designers ask about if it takes away from the collaboration process with the client. And I actually think that AI tools help make your process more collaborative with clients because they feel more in control and confident in the decision making due to the use of these AI tools and how quickly you can actually get them answers to these questions that they have or design ideas that they have. And then I think a lot of designers also have questions on how to get AI to actually generate what you want. And so it's kind of a process, and it takes refinement and kind of constant zhuzhing of how you're interpreting or how you're inputting the information into the system. Like with Prome, I say it sometimes takes 7 to 10 iterations or more to be able to get exactly what you're looking for. But the more you tweak it, the more you refine it, the AI output starts to understand what it is that you're wanting. And I would say it's definitely like a really collaborative tool if you're using it to your benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we so far, as we receive many feedback from users, the general feedback is very positive, and we see a lot of professional designers are embracing our AI tools to enhance their workflow. And the thing is, like, we trying to develop more tools, adding to our toolkit. Like we add region rendering, we add consistency model, and I saw there's a question, there's a comments in the in-call message that sometimes it finds it tricky to replace a selected area with a specific material that so because that's the feedback we received previously. So we have this like texture AI texture tools to able to in the future, we are it's still in the developing stage that you will able to replace a selected area with a specific material you generate with our tools. So that's promising, and you will be see that in our toolkit in the future. So so let me see. So assuming that there still be some some voices, like conservative voices, about using AI tools. So what kind of advice would you give to interior designers who are hesitate to adopt AI tools in their practice? Like you have already said that like explore more tools
Mhm.
and start with one, and also uh, try different method, and to play around with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you really, like I said, you have to rip the Band-Aid off and you really just got to dive in and start using something, right? And it can be very simple. It
Yeah.
could be as simple as an AI note taker. Those are amazing, and if you don't use them, you definitely should because they are huge time savers. Or like I said, ChatGPT, we use ChatGPT for so many things, and we create actual like custom ChatGPTs for kind of every aspect of our business to help just facilitate and streamline things. So I'd suggest by just biting off something really small and start there, incorporate into your process in a way that feels comfortable to you, and then it gets much easier after that. It's kind of a trial and error thing. You have to figure out what works best and where you can fit it into your process. And you know, as an interior designer, there's a lot that goes into a project, from start to finish. And so if you can, I always say, think about the things that you don't like doing, that are repetitive, that you know how to do, but you don't necessarily want to do. And usually there's some kind of an AI tool to be able to help you in that process. And so, think about it from that regard. And if you're not sure where to begin, ask ChatGPT, hey, I'm having problems with this. I'm spending a lot of time. What AI tools are out there that you could, recommend to me? Like literally just talk to ChatGPT. It's super easy. But I think once designers we work with see how much time these AI tools can save them, they realize that it really is more of an asset than a threat to them. And so, if you're hesitant to adopt it for whatever reason, just start small, like bite off something really small. And I think it's also important to remember you don't have to adopt everything all at once. Like you experiment, you find what works best, where you can fit it into your workflow, and then it just becomes kind of second nature to think about it from a standpoint of like, oh, I wonder if there's an AI tool out there that could help me with this. And 99% of the time there is. And if there's not, there's probably going to be one in the very near future. So AI is there to really just kind of handle tasks that might not be as fun, like administrative work or documentation. And obviously the sketch rendering tool is great for visualizations, and there's a lot of visualization tools out there. So I think, just finding where you can use AI and incorporate that, and then it leaves you more time to be able to do the fun things that you really like to do, like the design.
Yeah. About I the that actually it's already a habit for me. It's like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I have this questions, I will ask ChatGPT for help. That is the habit that I believe that most our people are it's already in us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes it's really helpful, and it saves time, and that you can after you can save the time to use it in real creative work, like
yeah,
do the brainstorming. That's the most important part. It's not replacing us, it's working for us, that's helping us. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
So
it's, oh, go ahead.
yeah.
I was just
Please.
going to say, it's just there's so many just amazingly helpful tools out there. And I know I've talked about ChatGPT a lot, but if there's a designer on this call that doesn't use ChatGPT currently, like you're missing out. Like it's just so helpful. So like just start small. It's a great one. It's free. Like just, go on, start playing with it. and just start talking to it. And it becomes so much, second nature anymore to us. And I go to ChatGPT probably 50 times a day. I'm not kidding. It's crazy.
Okay, I still have one more questions for you. It's about
Mhm.
our tools. So
Yeah.
are there any like upcoming features or like improvements in PromeAI that you are expecting, or you are maybe like the one I just mentioned that you are excited about? Because we want to like keep improving our tools that make it more tailored to afford to designers' need. So
So I will say, Candace, just in general for the listeners, that the Prome team is so awesome to work with, so collaborative, and really accepts feedback. So if you have any ideas that we haven't or we're not going to mention, then please reach out, because I know that they want as much feedback as they can get. And so it's been a really great collaborative process with Prome and their team. One thing that Candace mentioned on our podcast was how in the future we'll be able to take specific pieces, furniture pieces or accessories, that sort of thing, and then build the room there and create a full finished rendering. And I think that that is something that's super exciting to think about, because the faster we can build those and show clients options, the faster the design process is going to go.
Mhm.
yes, I
Yeah.
believe
And
that's the virtual staging, right? uh the
yeah.
virtual staging of like putting like a empty room, and you can actually generate furnitures or just put the furniture into to make it the room fully furnished, right?
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
question we always get from designers is, can I say that I want this particular Schumacher wallpaper applied on the wall, or, this particular tile on the floor? And like, we're not there yet, but I don't see that being something that we have to wait a long time for. I think it's coming faster than we know. And I think once it gets to that point, more designers will probably be open to the idea of, starting to use these tools, because then they're like, oh, well, I can do this visualization tool without having to spend hours and hours, rendering. And it's only getting better. Every time I log into Prome, I actually see a new AI tool that's there that I hadn't seen before. And so I think that's really great, because it shows that, you guys are always kind of on the forefront of thinking about what's next and what's coming. I would be interested to know, Candace, what is coming next from, your standpoint in terms of the development side of these AI tools and what you guys are working on.
Yeah, because we actually have some coworkers from the product team today with us. They surely are listening to your suggestions, and I can promise you that we are we are actually focusing on the very like specific steps of your design, like interior design workflow and also architectural design. We wanted to like because every time when there's a problem pops up, and we will definitely address them, that like think about another possible solutions for that, like for the material, and also for like very like fine tuning, and also like a real time rendering, 3D real time rendering. That's all that you can expecting from our tools in the future. So thank you.
That's awesome. Super excited. I love it when new tools come out. I actually was playing around with one last night that I hadn't seen before. And it's like a panoramic view of an image, which is super fun. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we launch new tools in a very like rapid way, and sometimes we just hope like our users can keep coming back to our site, and every time they log in and they find a surprise new tools.
Yeah, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. It always gives me something to try out.
Oh, well, have fun. So we are expecting like very reachable. You can always reach out to us via various social media platforms or via emails. You can send us your feedback on any tools in PromeAI general or any specific tools. We will make sure that every piece of your feedback pass to the whole PromeAI team, and usually we will review it, and we will probably have a meeting for it to discuss possible solution for that. So yeah, please feel free to say hello. So so is there any? I think there's.
I did see a question a few minutes ago that said, can scale figures be added without distortion, or
Oh,
is
yeah.
that best to just add post in something like Photoshop? I'd be interested to hear what you say, Candace, but from my experience, typically putting those in afterwards via Photoshop, like even, generative AI, like the fill tool is probably easier in that regard. If you have I'm guessing you're talking about people. If you have a person that you're trying to like put into an image, you could use the region rendering tool to be able to kind of just highlight the person and then like put it in the image that way and see what it does. I don't think you'd lose any quality or like distortion in that regard, and try it out and see. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do the erase and replace tool for that one. But yeah, interested to hear what your thoughts are, Candace.
Yeah, if you want to like put like keep the figure exactly the same, I'm afraid that our tools probably cannot achieve that. It's easier to use like a second editing Photoshop with it. With like if you are looking for like adding some like likely the same object like a furniture, that would do like I would say like 90% alike, similar. Yeah, to add that to the input image. Oops. So yeah, okay. So I think
Yeah, I don't see any other questions we haven't answered there. Steph, is there anything we haven't talked about that you feel like people would be good for people to know?
I don't think so. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I think you just have to try it. You just got to be open, try it out, see what works for you, see what doesn't, see how you can incorporate it into your process. And the other thing that I will say that I haven't said yet is what we have also found with these AI tools is that you sometimes have to shift your process a little bit in order to put it into your workflow at a place where it makes the most sense. And so, sometimes that could be like, for instance, we use the sketch rendering tool to be able to show these visual images for our clients. But what we've had to do is actually switch our process up a little bit differently, in that we don't do material selections first. We actually wait until we do our interior elevations in AutoCAD. And that way we can actually show them some visuals of what we're thinking in our head based on, you know, the prompts and the styles that we're inputting into the system, to be able to show them visuals and let them kind of land on a direction first before we make material selections. So then that actually streamlines that process, because we've already shown them visuals of, you know, what it is that we're envisioning and, you know, what they could envision, and, you know, get them to land on a direction, and then we start pulling materials. Whereas it was backwards, you know, previously we would do our materials and then we would do an interior elevation. So we've kind of had to switch up our process a little bit in order to make the tool work better and more efficiently for us. But by doing that, it has helped a lot. So I think just be willing to kind of shift your workflow a little bit to use these tools.
Jess, there was one more question. Can
Yeah.
you upload a rendering you created and it sharpens it to make it look more realistic without changing materials?
It's, oh,
Actually,
go ahead, Candace.
yeah, I think it mean to, because there's two options. The first one will be that you use the HD upscaler. That
Mhm.
will definitely increase the resolution of the picture. And another, because we have a AI architecture generator in our AI tools kit. So the difference between AI architecture generator and AI image generator is that the buildings and architecture generated from there will be more realistic. There will be no like a AI enhanced feel of those images. Yeah, that could be also a option if you want to like generate it purely from prompts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was going to say the image upscaler for sure would be good. What it does tend to do is it enhances textures and materials in an image. And so, you know, sometimes it might be overkill for you. You just kind of have to play around and see. So I would say put it in, see if it works for you. But it is going to try and enhance anything in that image without really changing the overall look and feel of it.
Yeah, I hope that answered your questions, that Tiffany. Okay, you're welcome. So I don't think we have more questions from the audience. So okay. Oh, so thank you. So please reminder that your feedback is important to us. So so like I said before, please feel free to reach out with any thoughts or questions, and you can also rewatch this webinar later on our YouTube channel. So we look forward to seeing you at our future events. So thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stephanie, we are so we appreciate so much that we have you today with us.
Oh, thank you for having us. We're super excited. And if anyone wants to get in touch with us or anything, definitely look us up on Instagram or online, AI for Interiors. And yeah, we'd love to continue the conversation.
Yeah, we have put two website link in our in our Meet details. One is their official website. Another is the AI for Interior programs. So make sure you check on that. Check their AI master classes. Yeah, and that
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
just have a great day, and everyone, we should probably say goodbye.
Thank you
everyone.
all. Yeah, we
Bye.
appreciate it. All right. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.